People of the state of Michigan versus Kevin Lester Carpenter, 2023303. Mr. Carpenter is here having pled to a charge of assaulting, resisting, or obstructing a police officer. Felony punishable by up to 2 years. He is here today appearing from his attorney's office, Ms. Yancey, and Mr. Gabriel is the prosecutor. Ms. Yancey, does Mr. Carpenter have any objection to doing this on video today?
No, Your Honor.
All right, do you have any additions, corrections, or deletions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Gabriel?
No, Your Honor.
We're going to correct the prior record variable to 2 points for a PRV 5, making it 2 points, still a level B. Offense variables would be 60 points, a level 3, a guideline range of 0 to 11 months.
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right, then, with that, allocution.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Carpenter resides in the Three Rivers area. He's got stable housing. He is seeking employment right now, but this incident did occur over a year ago. It was an unfortunate incident. He's not been in any trouble since then. And I would ask Your Honor to take into account the recommendation of the agent and follow that recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, sir.
Mr. Gabriel?
Briefly, Your Honor. Your Honor, the court's aware of the fact that I came in January. We've been dealing with a significant backlog of cases. And certainly, I don't want Mr. Carpenter or anyone to think that I'm downplaying the seriousness of what happened and what could have happened. You know, the situation in which a firearm is being used and it's being discharged and people are around, while it may be in his mind just an effort to keep people away from him, it also could result, as the court's well aware, in a death and a homicide. We have those to deal with. I do, in light of his criminal history, his age, believe that probation would be of value to deal with what appears to be a substance abuse problem, and also his selection of people he surrounds himself with in life. As I haven't been here that long. I've only been here 5 months, and I'm beginning to read pre-sentence reports, and I see names in here of people that I prosecuted, family members that I prosecuted. I'm not going to be going anywhere. And I certainly hope Mr. Carpenter learned something. We did what we did because of some of the circumstances he believes he was a victim of. So I've acknowledged that. But again, cooperate with the police and things end up going a whole lot easier. But you don't cooperate with the police, and we've seen at a national level what can happen. You could have been taken out by police by your actions that day. And then where would you be? So please, accept benefits, hopefully, that the court will be giving you a probation. And live out the rest of your life above the ground.
All right, thank you. All right, again, you know, I've said in the recent days, and Mr. Gabriel heard it yesterday, that these cases are really upsetting to me. I mean, you know, okay, you want to have a gun, you want to protect yourself, well, then you have a responsibility to do it responsibly, you know, which means that you know the rules. And the first rule is you're not drunk and pulling out the gun. So, you know, there's so many things that upset me here you know, April 28th, 2020, what was going on at that time? Just the massive outbreak of the COVID virus that we were all dealing with. You know, everything was in lockdown. You weren't supposed to be leaving your house. You weren't supposed to be doing anything. And so what happens is the police are dispatched to your home. Complainant says that they showed up with your ex to get some property. You were extremely intoxicated, come out with a gun, began to threaten them, and then pulled out a handgun. And he said he heard the gun go off and saw the grass fly. He also heard one of the shell casings hit the cement. He advised as they were leaving, Kevin retrieved a shotgun from the house, and he said that Kevin then pointed the gun at him and said, "Is this a pussy gun?" Which tells me just that, you know, the person that you're in the altercation with called your pistol a pussy gun, so you go in to get a shotgun to prove to them that you're not a simp and a pussy. You're going to show him that that's it, and then you cock it and they drive away and call the police. It's as if that wasn't bad enough, then when the police arrive, you're in the open doorway intoxicated. The officers knew you, never a good sign when they know you by name. They knew you from previous complaints. You were concealing your left hand behind the door and failed to comply with the officers' order to exit the house, but you continuously refused. You eventually advised you'd not come out and retreated into the house. You were not cooperating, so additional units were requested. They began PA announcements, and then other officers arrived and a perimeter was established. Tried to speak to you on the phone and it didn't work. Called back, and they spoke to the victims who described what had happened. Said that they had gone to the home to pick up some property of your ex-girlfriend's. You came out of the house, fired 2 shots from a semi-auto pistol. The shots were fired at the ground near their feet in his car. He thought it was a .22 caliber because of the distinct sound. You then went inside and got a pump-style shotgun and threatened them more. Described the handgun as a semi-automatic, possibly a .22 caliber, and the shotgun was a pump style. Police sought a warrant. They activated the SRT units. Armored cars, arrived. A search warrant was executed. After several hours of negotiation and PA announcements, you finally exited the house and you were taken into custody. When they searched the house, they found 2 shell casings on the sidewalk near the front porch of the residence, located 2 .22 caliber long rifle casings on the ground. Inside the residence on the couch, officers located a pellet rifle. In the bedroom, a Mossberg 12-gauge pump shotgun with 1 round in the chamber and 1 in the magazine. In the dresser drawer was a .22 caliber pistol, also with a round in the magazine. You told the police that you only had a bottle rocket that you shot at the car. Denied ever having a weapon other than the bottle rocket. When you described what happened to the agent, you advised that your toxic relationship with your girlfriend had gone on for 3 years, and that when her and her family members showed up to get her property, you came out with a gun, and because you were afraid of them. Well, again, gun ownership has responsibilities that you know what you're doing, and you don't respond to a threat. Apparently, nobody knows how 911 works in this county. Call 911, shut your door, and have the police take care of it. You don't pull out a gun. This is the 3rd case where somebody's come out of their house because somebody died in one of them. And so I'm done with it. If you want to have a gun, great. If you feel you need a gun for your protection, then you better know what you're doing. Because this is getting out of hand. Guns in cars, guns in houses, guns being shot at people where they're doing nothing, All right, so enough of the lecture. You got the deal you got. 2 years probation, subject to terms of probation that are listed. You will not be allowed to have any weapon. You must allow the agent into your home for any reason whatsoever to search your home for any contraband. You're not allowed to have any weapons. The goal of this probation, which I'm mandated to tell you, again, the goal of this probation that the agency is the negatives, your social isolation score. You lack a positive support social network. You exhibit feelings of isolation and loneliness. You may benefit from social skills training and identifying short-term goals for modifying this. You could benefit from exploring activities with pro-social people in the community. You have a very high probability of a substance abuse issue and likely to have drug or alcohol problems that you need treatment for. You have vocational educational scores to suggest a lack of education and vocational resources. and that you need vocational or employability skills training and or educational services. You also need help in job seeking and job retention. The agent indicates that on the date of the incident offense in the early afternoon hours, the defendant was intoxicated, decided to pull out a weapon to threaten and shoot at the victim, then failed to follow directions from police, retreating into his home, causing police to enlist the assistance of the SRT unit. Police negotiated for a few hours before you came outside and surrendered. Considering the seriousness of the offense, the amount of time and resources law enforcement spent in this case unnecessarily, and the risk you put yourself and others in, it's recommended that you be put on probation. You realize, at least you indicate, you realize your behavior was unacceptable and is accepting of a probation sentence. The goals of probation will be to address your social isolation, substance abuse, and vocational educational issues. You'll need to increase pro-social peers, complete substance abuse treatment, and obtain and maintain full-time employment. Also complete anger management. So, you're placed on probation. All the terms of probation are listed there. You were to comply by all of them. 2 days jail, credit 2 days served. $60 DNA fee is owed. $68 state cost. $130 crime victims assessment. Your supervision fee to the Department of Corrections is $30 a month, except those months where you're placed on tether or electronic monitoring, and then it's $60 a month. Court costs to reimburse the county for the cost of your representation, as determined by the State Court Administrator's Office, is $527. That's the bottom end of the scale they determined would be fair to compensate the county for the appointment of counsel. I'm not ordering a fine. And you are placed on electronic monitoring for a minimum of 90 days. And we will see how that goes in terms of that. And you will pay for the cost of that accordingly. You are not to have contact with Pete Edwards, Dina Baldwin, or Wendy Alexander, directly or through another person. And you may not be within 500 feet of their residence, school, or place of employment. And that concludes the terms. Well, all the terms of probation have been given to you. Your agent will review them with you. All right, Mr. Carpenter, Ms. Yancey is going to give you 3 forms advising you of what your rights on appeal are. I'd ask you to sign 1 copy acknowledging that you received them. If you wish to appeal, you need to fill the rest out, return them to the court within 42 days. And we'll go off the record, and you'll contact, Ms. Martin's going to tell you who to contact for placement on tether